RSVP with Lori, your soft life ambassador. Join me if you truly enjoy life. Please be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 8, Episode 3. Nail, Fletcher, and Mel are playing pickleball, being silly, having fun. And Mel is fussing about Nail not coming to the podcast. Nail says that she does understand why Mel would feel that way because she knows Mel has been let down plenty of times in her life. So if that's the case, Neil, why does somebody have to tell you that? Like, that's what I don't understand. I don't want to have to teach people how to be a good friend. You know right from wrong. You know your friend, they've been friend years and they know each other. So you stayed away from that podcast for a reason. I don't like people that can't be honest and upfront. Why didn't you tell her what you told Stormy about how you didn't like how she had Martell arrested, which is probably the reason you didn't go to the podcast. Just to be honest, y'all, I really feel like none of the cast showed up at the podcast because Mel was being spotlighted. A lot of people do not like to clap and cheer other people on when it's their winning season. And I'm not going to use the word jealous because I don't feel like every time somebody doesn't root for you that they're jealous. But I do believe that they didn't like the fact that the entire cast wasn't the spotlight, that it was just Mel. And she was the first guest that Carlos selected for his podcast, if that makes sense. So do with that what you may. Nell brings up Martell's arrest and Mel explains what happened. Nell says she understands. However, I don't really think she did because if she understood that, she wouldn't keep going around saying, you shouldn't put black men in jail. You shouldn't put black men in jail. Black men that break the law should be in jail. I'm sorry. I don't believe in that. I don't believe for 1 second you should allow black men to have bad behavior and to not be corrected or condemned. Like, yeah, I feel bad. No, I don't really feel bad that your son is in jail because if he broke the law, that's exactly where he belongs. If my son breaks the law, that's exactly what he deserves, to be in jail for breaking the law. It's just that simple. And then Nell asked her if she watched the interview with Tasha K that Martell did. She said she didn't really watch it. She knows that he did it and she was aware of it, but she knows one thing, that it backfired on him, which it did. Martell, I think because he's been so charming and conniving all of his life, he thought that he could fool the general public, which he cannot. We're much smarter than that. And I don't think he even fooled Mel. She just put up with his BS because she loved him. Like, you weren't fooling that lady. They also discussed Chris's daughter calling Nail a side chick and doing interviews saying how, they didn't help her. They take care of Nail's kids better and they, pretty much outcasted her from the family. I don't think Nail is being fair to that young lady's feelings. If that's how my daughter or my stepdaughter was feeling, I would try to have a conversation with her, not cuss her out, not be mad at her. I think it's really in poor taste for her and Chris to be mad that she's tarnishing their image and lashing out instead of getting to the bottom line. Even if they don't think they treated her different, if that young lady believes that, have a conversation and try to correct it instead of, being so upset with her. She just seemed like she had venom for her. And I forgot Chris's daughter's name, so no disrespect there, but I forgot her name. But she was talking about Chris's older child. That's not Neil's daughter, but she's her stepmother. Mel says she's just disappointed. In the whole situation. She knows how it feels to have family talking bad about you in public and things like that. And like I always say, you cannot tell people how to remember you. That's the part people keep forgetting. You can pretend to be a good person all you want. And I'm not saying that Nell is not a good person, but you can't tell people how they are going to remember you. So, okay, we go on, cut to the next scene. Stormy and the new cast member, Latricia, which I never heard nobody named Latricia. I heard of Patricia. But anyway, they call her Trish for short. They meet for drinks and they have a good conversation. Stormy used to do her hair. Stormy is excited. She knew her ex-husband. She knew her when she was with him and saying that she just seems like she's in a much better place with her new boyfriend. And she shares that they are going to go the surrogate route, her and Courtney. And Tish was glad to hear that. She told her that Tisha wants her to train her and she wanted to get Stormy's advice. Stormy encouraged her to do so. She said, hey, me and Tisha didn't get off on the right foot. Well, they did get off on the right foot, but she says that Marceau interrupted their relationship and that he also did the same with Mel. I do agree with that. I agree that Marceau is a busybody and he comes in between the relationship of Tisha and other women because I think that he always has to have some sense of control. Like, even if I do vent to my husband about my friends, he's not gonna input and say, "Oh, you should or shouldn't be friends with this person. You shouldn't or shouldn't hang out with this person." He knows that I'm smart enough to make that determination on my own. So I think Tisha looks for reassurance from him, and then he doesn't like strong Black women. He doesn't like independent Black women. He doesn't like free thinking Black women. So if that's the type of woman you are, he doesn't want Tisha to be friends with you. So there goes that. Uh, so Trish says that she will call Tisha and train her. She said she was doing some training with Destiny. Stormy says Tisha is cool, but you get to know her on your own, pretty much. That's how that went. And they talk about how angry they were as Black women, and their spouses respectfully have calm them down, let them know, hey, we're on the same team. You don't have to fight me and that type of thing. Stormy, she just seems a little off. She talked about how she would get so angry she would go outside and stab the grass. Now, I don't know if she was being facetious or she was being for real, but either way, that just sounded really odd that you would let yourself be that angry to want to stab some grass. That I wasn't feeling that. Like, I've never been that angry at somebody. So anyway, Trish said that she stayed in her first marriage due to the kids, and they broke up because it was just time. They really weren't into each other, pretty much. She says that she is ready to get married to Ken, although they both said they never wanted to get married again. And that's similar to me and my husband. We both said we'll never get married again when we first met. But we are now married. And I think sometimes when you find that person and you're not worried about the marriage, and you're worried and you are in love, excuse me, that it just gets into place. It just goes into place. Um, so yeah, they just said they were both firecrackers for the most part, and they humbled themselves because they found the right man, which I really enjoyed that open dialogue. Moving on, Stormy and Courtney visit Roland Museum that is located in Huntsville. I know I follow him on Instagram, and they have old school cars for sale. Stormy says she thinks the Lincoln was named after President Lincoln. Courtney laughs at her. I looked it up, y'all. Now, she was correct. The Lincoln brand of cars was named after President Abraham Lincoln because the founder admired him and was a fan. So yeah, there goes that. They discussed surrogacy. I just didn't think that was the right time to discuss it. I guess that's what they're gonna make their storyline this season. I don't like how this show is overproduced. I'm gonna keep saying that every episode until they stop doing it. It's overproduced. They're telling Stormy to mention the surrogacy on every scene. It's like, come on now, show her going to the doctor or whatever, but she don't need to keep mentioning like that. They chit chat about the first baby, Chess, and all that, and then she just so happens to mention meeting with TikTok. Like, that was so out of place. I didn't even understand at all. Stormy suggests they're going to double date at the gym with Trish and Ken. And Courtney says, no, I thought that was funny. He's like, hell no, I'm not going to the gym with them. So that was funny. They said they do want to do a double date, but they would play cards or whatever. Moving on, Trish and Ken tell how they met. Um, I thought it was a great storyline. I'm looking forward to getting to know them. That might be the dynamic that this show needs, an actual couple, that are building and are open to being transparent about their lives. That they might be the missing piece for this show. For real. They might be that missing piece. They discuss their gym routine. She has 2 children from her previous marriage. He has a daughter, although she's not biologically his daughter. He kept a great relationship with her. That's really stand up of him. So again, I'm liking this couple so far. They into fitness, and she ain't running to get a BBL and surgery. She actually works out. I applaud that. I'm looking forward to getting back into my fitness routine. So I applaud anybody, especially women, that are dedicated at the gym. Ken says he wants to give everybody on the show a fair chance. He thinks that Marceau is funny, and they discuss their wedding. Um, Mel goes to a plant place, like it was like a botanical place where you can make your own plants, your own, to take home and plant or whatever. I thought that was a cute little idea, something cute to do with your girlfriends or even your partner, something to have at home, and keep that plant alive, and you always remember that date. But she meets with Keisha and Timmy. Tisha and Kimmy, and they talk about not going to the podcast. Tisha tells Mel that she didn't go because she didn't get an invitation. She backtracks on how Mel kicked her out of the event she had a few years ago, and Mel explains, well, was a public event. Like, how can I kick you out? It was a public event. But I kind of see what Tisha was going. Like, I don't want to go nowhere where you're at if I didn't get a special invitation, because I don't want to feel like that again. So I can understand why Tisha would feel that way, even though it was a public event. Like, let me know you want me there. Kimmy goes on to say, well, the people that rock with you, Mel, they're not so nice to us. And Mel says, oh, the millimeters. Kimmy doesn't want to call them the millimeters. Again, I think they are a bit envious that Mel has an actual fan base. That's how it seems to me, because she did not want to say millimeters out of her mouth. And that's how the perception was to me. Um, and I agree. Like I said last episode, I do agree. There are some people that are calling themselves millimeters that go above and beyond, quote unquote, on Melody's behalf when she's not asking them to. Like, you don't have to hate everybody else on the show to be a fan of Mel. It's absolutely unnecessary. And some of them do act ridiculous. I wish Tisha would have been honest with Mel and told her what she told Stormy, how she felt about everything, but she wasn't. What else? Oh, Kimmy's mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. Is that something like that's really something? And hopefully the both of them have had the genetic testing. My prayers go to her mom. I know that has to be difficult for you to battle cancer and win, and then the family celebrating, and then your mom is diagnosed. So Kimmy had triple negative breast cancer, which I had as well, and now her mom is triple positive, and that's a slow progressing form of cancer. So she said her mom was doing well. I'm happy to hear that. Um, let's see. Then they discuss Tisha, if she's going to be a stay-at-home mom or go back to work. And she says, she's really torn because she wants to be there for the kids. She thought she would have more free time when her youngest went to school, but she's really involved with the school when she doesn't want to miss out on things with her children. And I will say this. Everybody knows I am a soft life ambassador. If you can stay home with your children, moms, please do. You don't get that time back. Like, I was a working mom and I don't feel bad. I don't feel guilty. But if you have the choice to be there for your children, be there, be present for, I was still luckily able to make it to all the games and things like that. But be present for your children if you can. Being a so-called boss is not that important. You still will have so much time left after your children, get over a certain age. Once they get to, like 7th, 8th grade in high school, they don't even want you there that much. So go ahead and be present. That's my advice to Tisha. And then they discuss Martell's arrest. She explains to them exactly why he was arrested. And Kimmy says she understands. They didn't get Tisha's point of view on it, but Kimmy says, yeah, she understands. And Tisha does say maybe he just won't ever change. And they talk about, checking on each other more often. Tisha apologizes to Mel that she didn't check on her about the Martell situation. Kimmy did call, said Mel's voicemail was full, so she wasn't able to actually talk to her. So that was that. I won't do the previews on the next week's season because I'll just discuss it next week. If you made it to the end, I thank you guys. I thank you guys for all the new followers, all the watch time for the Love and Marriage Huntsville reviews. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here, but I will be reviewing other shows. I'll be reviewing Real Housewives of Atlanta when that comes back on. And if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section. I'm going to also be uploading daily. I promise you, starting this week, I will be uploading daily on my YouTube. So please consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, click the notification bell so you will get all of the notifications when I post a new video. Thank you. Oh, I forgot. Everything stated is my opinion, not the law. Thanks.